Hello everyone, Trophy Wine Hunter. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is my update for May 2025. And I've just come back from vacations. I was in Porto and you'll see some videos upcoming of my wine tours at two port houses, Grams and Ferreira. And it's really nice to come back and to get some perspective. Whenever I go on vacation, it gives me a little more time to think about things. This month, hopefully, I will get to 1 million views on YouTube. And I know for a lot of people, a lot of YouTubers that are successful, that's nothing. But to me, it's a huge number because I never really expected anything when I started out this channel. So I started this channel about 4 years ago when COVID was alive, and if you see some of my original videos, they're like terrible. Like if you think these are bad videos, look at those ones. It was so amateurish, and I'm still very amateur in terms of what I do, but those ones were really bad. And I'm so glad that people have put up with me. Most of my viewers are not people I know. I don't really approach friends. I've never tried to market my videos. I've never forced people to subscribe or view. It's kind of just natural. And I really appreciate everyone just letting me do what I do. I'm not professional at all. I'm very amateurish. And so I'm just continuing to do what I'll do. And if people want to watch, that's great. And I don't have huge expectations. One of the things I learned while I was on vacation, because prior to that, I was looking at other YouTube channels and wine YouTubers like, wow, I think I could do that. And how come they've got more views? There's always this type of like, oh, I wish I could do that, or I could be like that, or I'm better than that. But what I've realized in the time that I was on vacation is, nothing is easy in life. And all those YouTubers that are successful, it's not by luck. They put in a lot of work. It might seem like they're not putting a lot of work into it, but they put a lot of work into it. And I am not prepared to do that. And that's why I'm probably so amateurish. But I'm good with that. I can't expect to have the views and other things, success that other YouTubers have if I'm not prepared to put in the time. In life, there are no shortcuts. Whether it be a YouTuber or learning about wine or my profession, there's no shortcuts. So when people make it look easy, it's not easy. It's still hard work. So I go back to things that I like for instance, hockey. When you look at superstars like Sidney Crosby or Connor McDavid, it looks easy, but I can tell you, they probably put in a ton of work and more work than any other person. They're so dedicated to their work. Same thing with my profession. I think I'm pretty decent at what I do in my profession, but I put in a lot of work. Some people don't think it looks like I put in a lot of work, but I put in a lot of work behind the scenes, and it probably just doesn't look like it. Same thing with YouTubers. They put in the work, and I'm now resigned to the fact that, hey, I'm not prepared to put in that type of work. There are people in the wine industry that are much more studious, that put in way more time learning about wines. Same thing with YouTubers. There are people that they're full time at doing this. That's not me. And I'm happy with what I have. I'm happy with the growth of my YouTube channel. All three of mine, the Trophy Food Experiences, the Trophy Travel Experiences, and I'm just happy to make videos. It's all kind of took me back to why I made these videos, which is I always wanted to make these videos for myself, because whenever I drank a wine or went to a restaurant or traveled, I thought I gained a lot of knowledge doing the research. And then once I finished that wine or that restaurant or that travel experience, after 2 months, I forgot everything. And so that's why I started all these channels, almost like a diary to myself, so that when I drink wines, then I'll remember it. Then when I go on travel, I'll remember what I did. When I go to a restaurant, I'll remember what I thought. And that's really the whole essence of my channels, to kind of just have a diary for myself to make sure I don't waste the experience. So when I drink a wine like Chateau Margaux 2003, that I can say more than just, oh, it was great. And so that's really the emphasis. Sometimes my channel isn't that entertaining, but I'm happy, and I've come to that realization that I'm just gonna do what I do, and if I get followers, that's great. If I don't, I'm good with it. I'm not a YouTube star. I'm never gonna make $1 million doing YouTube, but that's not me. I'm just happy with what I've done. This gives me an outlet to talk to other very knowledgeable and passionate, wine lovers, and I've met a lot of people through this experience. So to me, it's all a plus. And the other thing I just want to kind of remind people, because a lot of people, especially young people, want to be YouTubers, first of all, there's no shortcuts. So if you think that's going to be an easy life, it's not. You still have to work. It's just like any other job. You have to put in the time, you have to put in the craft, you have to know your craft. It's same as everything else. It's work. It's not fun. It's not just glamour. And secondly, just make sure that you understand that, hey, if it doesn't work out, you have other things in life, and you have to have balance. You have to have priorities, and that's really important. So for instance, if you have a family and you have young kids, that's your priority, not wine. Wine is kind of just an extra. It's a luxury. It's something that you're passionate about, but you really have to take care of what is in front of you. Your family, your kids, what you do for your regular work. These are really priorities. Having said that, I feel so blessed to be able to do this. It's really fun for me. And again, it is a hobby. And I think we have to remember that for a lot of YouTubers and Instagrammers, most of us will never make enough money to justify the time that we put into this. Having said that, if it's fun and you enjoy it, that's great. If it becomes work, or if it takes over your priorities in life, that's probably unhealthy. This vacation has kind of let me reset a little bit. I probably have spent too much time on social media compared to what the rewards are, and this is a good reset for me. So going forward, I'm just gonna do what's natural to me. I'm not gonna kill myself if I can't produce a video every week. I am really excited that I will probably cross the 1 million view threshold this month, and this is the wine that I'm gonna drink to celebrate. This is the 2003 Margaux, and I'll do that video. Upcoming, what do I have upcoming? I've drunk a 2008 Pichon Lalonde, which will be coming up. A really interesting video. I'm re-reviewing the 2019 Cloudy Bay Sauvignon Blanc. And one of the reasons is that, I've always been told that Sauvignon Blanc, particularly New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, is not ageable. So I wanted to test that. So I did a review 4 years ago, and now I'm going to do a re-review. I'm also going to do two reviews of my port tours and tastings at Grams and Ferreira in Porto, Portugal. And I was there and so blessed. And then I was lucky enough to meet a subscriber at a wine club in London called Pall Mall 67. And hopefully I'll bring you a review of the wines that we did there. Going forward, I'm just gonna kind of do what I do, and whatever wines interest me and whatever comes up, that's what I'm gonna review. I'm gonna try and continue to bring you my style of video, which is kind of very consumer based. Again, I'm not an expert. There are lots of wine experts, wine gurus, masters of wine who can give you that knowledge. That's not me. I'm gonna be just a consumer taster, and I'm good with that. there are certain areas that I feel very comfortable with, like Bordeaux, like Burgundy, coming to some Italian regions like Barolo. But there's some reasons I know nothing about. And I'm just going to discover them just like every other consumer. I don't profess to be an expert in wine, but there are certain regions that I think I have drunk enough wines that I can extrapolate things and let you know from a tasting perspective. Because there's a huge difference in my mind between what we call book knowledge and tasting knowledge in wine. You can read all you like about wines and what they should taste like, but if you haven't had the experience, it's a totally different thing. And that's kind of what I find a lot of times when I drink with people. A lot of people have book knowledge. They know what this wine should taste like. They know what the ratings are. But have you ever tasted the wine? That's a totally different experience. And how to serve a wine, what the provenance of the wine is, what the variation of the wine could be, that takes tasting experience. And that's really the fun part of wine. Tasting. Tasting with people, sharing the experience, comparing notes. That to me is the fun part. A lot of people might find the learning of wine is the fun part. But to me, it's the actual drinking of the wine, which is the ultimate fun part of wine. And if you don't drink the wines, it's hard to really to say you're a wine connoisseur or a wine lover. And so that's what I have found in the modern age. In kind of 40 years back, there was no experts. There were just drinkers. People were drinkers, and by them drinking a lot, they became experts. Now in the modern age, because people don't drink as much and you don't want to get drunk and you don't want to drive, everyone seems to drink less, and they become experts by book knowledge. But that's, to me, is taking the fun out of wine. You have to drink the wine to have the fun, to my ability. And a lot of people, to my surprise, actually don't drink the wine. They rather, spit out the wine, or I'll just have a little taste. But you love wine, so that to me is kind of confusing, and I think to me that's not a good trend. You should just be honest and say, listen, I actually don't drink wine. I love the study of wine, but I actually don't like wine, and I actually don't drink a lot of wine. When I drink certain wines, I can't stop, because it's not that I don't think I'm alcoholic. It's just the wine keeps intriguing me. Wow, I take this, I'm confused about this, I want to taste more of this. That to me is the fun part of wine. Not, I know every notes and tasting notes and trophy, when you have that wine, I know what it should taste like. That to me is not fun. That's academic. To me, the fun part of wine is to really taste it. And I find in modern day, too many people talk about wine and not enough people drink the wine. And I'd rather have people just be honest and say, listen, I actually don't drink the wine. I'm just interested in the wine knowledge. That's fine. I'm cool with that. Or likewise, some people they say, I don't care about any of the knowledge. I just want to drink the wine. Just people kind of being honest with their true intentions, I think is important. And that would make wine drinking more of a hobby rather than a pretentious interest. And I find nowadays, wine drinking, wine appreciation is more a interest that people think they should take up because it's very high end rather than something they're passionate about. To me, passion is the most important thing in life. Whether it be in your work, in anything that you enjoy, you have to be passionate. And if you're not passionate, it's just work and it's just a facade. And I really hope that people, when they drink wine, that they try to just enjoy it. And what enjoy means something different for every person. Whatever that means to you, whether you just want to sip wines that are under $40, whether you want to try high-end wines, whatever that is, that's your road. And I really don't think there is a road. I don't think you have to follow some YouTuber like myself and follow the same road, or some master of wine, or you have to be good in blind tasting. That's their route. That's not your route. And I just encourage people to find their own route in life, to find their passion, and to realize that there are no shortcuts in life. There is nothing that you can accomplish without really be passionate and putting in the time and effort. There's nothing. Maybe people strike the lottery and get lucky once in a million or 10 million. But you don't want those odds. You want to take better odds, which is just be a good person, be passionate at what you do, work really hard and at whatever craft you have. And that's how it works out. And I'm sorry I'm preaching so much, but that's kind of my thing this month. I just came back from vacation and just thought, I just want to talk about my channel and going forward. It's a relief to me because I've, over the last year, felt a lot of pressure to grow my channel, maybe get more subscribers. That's very common with anyone that's on YouTube or Instagram. But to me now, it's like, I can't do that. I'm going to be very honest and say, listen, there's some people that are way better at producing videos. There are some YouTubers that are way more knowledgeable than me. I can't compete. I'm not trying to compete. I'm not going to even try to make that argument. I'm just going to be me. And, people who enjoy my channel, that's great. I don't expect people to be exclusive to my channel. I follow other channels. And it's just about hopefully sharing knowledge. And I hope that when I drink wines, that other people find this channel useful. That's my little spiel for this month. The last part of this video will be things that I see in BC liquor stores this month. It's kind of be a little more challenging because now in BC and most of Canada, government liquor stores do not sell US wines. So that kind of takes out a segment of the market. But having said that, the wine world is so diverse that there are lots of wines out there. So I hope you've enjoyed my little spiel and the rest of this video. Here's what's on sale and new at BC liquor stores for the month of May 2025. Don't have a lot this month. All the US product is off the shelf. And I tried to find a couple of things that are interesting to me. First one is from Concha Toro. It's their 2022 Marquis de Casa Concha to the Cabernet Sauvignon. It's reduced this month from $27.99 to $23.99. This is considered one of their luxury brands or premium brands. It's mostly Cabernet Sauvignon. It does have a bit of Syrah, Petit Verdot, Cabernet Franc, and Carmenere, like under 10%. It's gonna give you a nice full-bodied type taste. It's aged 16 months, 60% in French oak barrels, and so it's gonna have quite a good tannin structure and give you good fruit on this. So I think it's a really respectable Cabernet Sauvignon for under $30. A couple of German white wines for you this month. I think German wines are very well priced. They are very ageable, and they actually pair very well with a number of foods, including Asian foods and seafood. So the first one is Selbeck Oyster 2020. It's their Zeltinger Alte Reben. It's their dry or Trocken. And when you talk about dry, it's not really, to me, that dry. It's still got quite a bit of fruit sweetness to these wines. But again, they pair really well with food, and they're kind of lighter in style. And so, it's quite a nice balance. I like the acidity with food. It really goes well. So this is priced at $38.99. It's not on sale, but I think it's a good value. Even a better price is their Selbeck Riesling Fish Label 2021. So it is an off-dry Riesling. It's made by the Selbeck family. And the fish label actually originated in BC. It's created by a Vancouver-based artist. And they're friends of, I guess, the winemaker, Johann Selbeck. And so it's going to be a lighter style, but it's kind of a nice compare and contrast. It's only $22.99. So it's kind of a nice, kind of simple introduction to German wines. Next one I have for you is the Domaine J de Villebois, and it is their 2023 Minuto Salon. Minuto Salon is a region in the Loire Valley, and J de Villebois is a specialist that works only with Sauvignon Blanc grapes in the Loire Valley. So kind of interesting. This is going to be a dry style, and so Sauvignon Blanc a little bit different in terms of the Loire expression of it than you would see in New Zealand. So it's just an interesting taste, a little bit more age-worthy, not as racy in terms of the acidity, a little bit more body. But just an interesting drink, and don't see this producer very much in BC liquor stores, and so I thought it was an interesting wine to highlight this month. And last bottle that I have for you, since I've just been to Porto and I've been to the Graham's cellars and their tour, is the Graham's 2018 late bottle vintage port. I love this expression. For people that like vintage port but don't want to pay the price, this is $28.99. Very accessible. Look at the great packaging of it. So late bottle vintage is very simple. It's basically ruby port from a single year that has high quality and is aged for between 4 to 6 years in wood. And so it's kind of vintage port in style, but not in the price. And, you know, a lot of people, you know, the vintage port is great, but it's very expensive and you need to wait a long time. This is kind of not as the declared years, but still very good in terms of, it's still quite nice to port, and it's probably a little bit more accessible. So I actually like this very much as a product, and it's a good introduction to port, especially ruby style port, which I'll explain in my videos later this month. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Until next time, happy drinking.